Hello, welcome back. This is the Unscrambled Manifesto of Africa, and today we are going to talk about science. The adoption of science in the African continent has been one with mixed reactions. We have continuously found ourselves having to play catch up in many aspects of the field, yet it's not with surprise that we were among the first to birth various fields of it. By some weird reason, maybe a meteorite fall, our foremost knowledge in the sciences that led to ancient marvels was totally erased and we went back to Stone Age default setting, or what today's phones call factory settings. On the other hand, others in the East, China, Japan, etc., and majorly in the Midwest, Europe, France, England, Germany, etc., have made windfall discoveries in science to greater heights than our forefathers had espoused. By the time we were introduced into this craft, after a period of wanton plunder and disorientation caused by colonialism, it was no wonder that most Africans perceived disciplines in science to be no different than some form of white magic or witchcraft, to be precise. The Africans had a clear chance to see science in its holistic attributes, not only a force of good, but as also a source of great evil. The advancements in medicine, vaccine, pharmaceutical drugs, etc., could save many lives, as many as could be taken down by the barrel of the gun or the mighty force of the atomic bomb. These are the contexts of the adoption of science in Africa. Personally, I must exercise my brain muscles to full speed to picture that not long ago, in the 1950s, my paternal grandmother was using a Stone Age tool to thresh or mill her flour, and within no time, water, river flow driven mills were introduced, and before they could be understood, electric and diesel ones cropped up with speed until now, where we have automated millers that have managed to turn everything into a mystery for young generations. Some can't even know that a flour packaged in and sold in supermarket was once a grain growing on a farm somewhere. And a similar context is everywhere in other fields. My great grandfather wore Maasai sheep's skin clothes, and within no time a fully mechanized loom was superimposed on their brains to understand how cotton really made clothes by which his son, my grandfather, could wear and look like an European, but my great grandfather, having resisted the sudden change, him and his generation preferred adorning a blanket instead. The blanket had a very close feel to sheep's skin. Make no mistake, we Africans had a keen learning of the celestial skies. Those who lived in places where night skies were often clear to view stars synchronized their tribal rites with heavenly signs of stars and planets. But most were not as lucky, living on a belt where winds converge and where clear sky is an exception rather than the norm being cloudy skies. A vivid observation of the stars and planets was not possible. In such an environment, naked eye astronomers could not have been called into existence. Thus, we were comfortable in reading other signs such as tree changes, animal behavior due to seasons, etc., to reckon our position of existence on the eternal flow of time. We were not engaged in a rigorous escapade of encasing it in a machine called a chronometer. The marvel of the clockwork universe did not manifest on us. The clockwork bios sufficed. So, when my great grandfather's age mate, I suspect to the year 1858, Professor Max Planck in Germany, was making mind boggling discoveries in the field of astrophysics, my great grandfather was navigating through dense forest to go and make a raid and steal cattle from a distant neighboring tribe. My grandfather barely got to know anything about astrophysics. His son, my father, turned out to be a curriculum high school physics teacher who introduced the basics of astrophysics to his son, us, who then went ahead to meet Planck's constant and other luminaries such as Albert Einstein work on general relativity when we undertook our curriculum tertiary education in the sciences. This is the context. In my tertiary education, I was spending sleepless nights trying to comprehend or come into agreement by what was done by someone who was my great-grandfather's age mate. How fair was this? How was I to compete in this discipline with Max Planck's great-grandson? If I would spin it around, it is like teaching Max Planck's great-grandson how to successfully navigate dense forests with all their dangers, buffaloes, elephants, lions, leopards, venomous snakes, etc., and still carry out a warrior-worthy raid on our fierce tribes and run away back with a herd of cattle back home and route the dangerous forests, fight off the added difficulty of pursuit, and still live to be 110 years. How is that? This is what we African scientists feel when trying to come into agreement with marvels done by our peers in Europe. And there lies the first danger of adoption of science in Africa. The fact that we tarried far behind, and since colonialism or modernity did not take care to take us slowly through a smooth transition of factual agreement with the scientific findings of peers in Europe, much of what we have in our ICOR scientific software is no less than a faith-based belief system agreement. Think about that for some time. We have most of us adopting science as a religion. It's no wonder in Africa it's not uncommon to find someone telling you, I don't believe that science stuff. Even religious leaders fight it as a rival belief system. How is that? The answer lies on the fact that most disciplines in science and mathematics have been taught to us as a matter of believing, not observation. For instance, we had to believe that the solar system had 9 planets, and we could make songs to recite their arrangements and characteristics. Yet when the international community announces an unique stellar observation that all should witness in the sky, it's not uncommon to find Africans disoriented in making this observation. Yet 95% won't even care. Other life-saving inventions in medicine still face opposition, and they will until a paradigm shift happens. Vaccines are ignored, protective clothing and gadgets are wreathed, yet the two-dimensional thinking consortium of scientists continues daily toiling towards channeling these inventions, hailed as saviors of humanity. Meanwhile, this significant part of humanity continues with their daily lives in ignorance and wondering what these scientists up there smoke. The closer they draw a circle around their brilliant minds, the more they are swallowed into a black hole. And once in the black hole, their only evidence of existence becomes channeling out ridiculous wavelengths of inventions and announcements that continually render them redundant to offer any further meaningful help to humanity. What is the black hole grip on science? The black hole grip on science is named after this celestial body that has been proven to exist, super dense in its gravity, completely dark for even light cannot escape from it, with the capability to swallow any matter that falls close by. This is the futuristic true nature of how this cabal of scientific consortium will turn in the future. Right now, it's in the formative stages. How, you ask? I try to elucidate. Take an instant in cancer therapy. When there was a promise that chemotherapy was the way to go, all of a sudden there was a burst of scientists interested in building the research and development of novel and better chemotherapy treatments. Then came radiotherapy. It too sucked up lots of scientists. Then came stem cells technology, and the mass carved in further deeper. Then nanotechnology and robotics, even promising prospects of three-dimensional printing of organs, etc. What qualifies this to be a black hole formation is not the fact of arising new luminaries that suck up scientific brains, but more worrying is the abandonment of earlier disciplines without their exhaustion. This is the real danger. Such is the seduction and gravity of the black hole grip on modern science. Let me rest my case there. You can read the other part in my book. You can get my book in amazon.com, and you can like this video and subscribe. Thank you.